Hello, folks. So today I wanted to talk about hardworking people, right? People who put in a lot of effort and physically do a lot of labor and work really hard, right? And don't get paid a lot. Um, for example, I use the two-wheeler riding service in Ola, Uber, and all, right? So in Ola, they also have the two-wheeler electric bike service in Bangalore at least. So where they use the Ola electric bike and all. I actually work in Ola, so I know about the bike a bit, and how it works, and uh, and also how much these people have to pay. For example, the Ola electric bike, I think. These people have to rent, the people who are driving have to rent it out of Ola. It's not their own vehicle, I think. They rent it out of Ola and then drive. I think everyday rent, the last time I heard, was $300. And then they have to pay for the charging and all, I think. Right? And depending on the kind of bike, it goes the range, it goes the distance, like 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers, or whatever it is. So, and I've also tried out Uber also, and the normal petrol bike and whatnot, right? In Uber and Ola. I haven't tried Rapido much in the recent days. So these people are very hardworking people, right? Like they go around driving people, and whenever I book a ride in Ola, right, in electric bike, usually that too, or even just in bike, I think, and they are like, say, in some distance, let's say a kilometer distance or something, and it's gonna take, and I'm in Bangalore, right? So it takes, let's say, some 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes is a long time, but let's say it takes 5 minutes or even 9, 8, 9 minutes, right? Or sometimes very rare, I think, is 10 minutes, 11 minutes, or whatever. The person then calls me up, or I call them up and ask if they're coming, and then they say, "Sir, can you please wait? Don't cancel." This person, so I have seen so many people who have been rude to me. Okay, I have been someone who has faced a lot of rudeness. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people in the world who might have, or not who might, who surely would have faced a lot of rude people and rudeness and rude behavior, right? But these people are like, can you please not cancel? Or they'll say, please don't cancel, or don't cancel, sir, I'm coming. I'll come soon. Don't cancel, right? Because I think when people keep canceling, right, it's not a great experience for them, and I don't think they'll get paid enough also, right? They need more rides. So I think they get paid on the number of rides apart from the distance of the rides and all. I don't know exactly how they get paid, but they just say this, right? And then you see, when I pay them for the distance, like I usually go short distance only in two-wheelers. Long distance I just prefer, I think, autos, because two-wheelers get scary for me for long distance. um, and because it's not exactly safe for me, at least I feel two-wheelers are not exactly safe. I'll talk about that in a separate video. So, and roads generally feel unsafe to me. So I'll talk about that. So, and these people say don't cancel, and then they come, they pick me up, and then they leave me, drop me at my place. And then the cost that comes in for this is pretty low. That's why I use the Ola bike or Ola e-bike and Uber motor, right? Uber moto and all, right? Bike meaning here actually the motorcycle, not the cycles in the usual English word. So, so I'm like, it's only some, say, I go 1 kilometer or 2-3 kilometers. 1 kilometer, I think I just usually walk. 2-3 kilometers, if I need to go there quickly, then I just use this, or sometimes even end up using an auto if no motorcycles come. So for 2-3 kilometers, usually the cost is like 30, 40, 50, 60 max, right? Depending on the demand now. And I'm like 30 rupees, 40 rupees. Sometimes I pay them more. I don't even think they notice. I just show them that I paid on UPI and they're like, thank you, sir, that's all. And sometimes I pay them some 10, 20 bucks more, like, or some percentage more, 25%, 50% more, depending on how much that 50% comes up to. Very rarely even 100%, in case I let them wait for me, or more like made them wait for me because I was late. A lot of times I've been late for autos and motorcycles, and I feel very very bad about it, and I'm like, okay, let's pay them a bit more because I was late, because the platform usually starts charging the customer money when the time to pick up takes too much time, like more than 3 minutes for autos and all, like for Rapido or even Namayatri, I think 2 minutes or 3 minutes. But for motorcycles there is no such time, I think, right? So even delivery people, if you take time to go and get the delivery from them, there is no such thing wherein it gets details of like were you late or whatever, right? But I think they do have like rate. People usually do have rating wherein they can rate the customer. So I don't know how that affects the customer. Depends, I think. Especially food delivery people, I don't know if they can rate the customer, but if they can rate, they will rate them based on how late they came, how kindly or rudely they responded over calls or in person and all that, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm like, they get paid so less. Like I pay them so less. I don't know how much they get paid from the platform. I'm like, this is very less. For electric bike, I understand that the cost of electricity is pretty low, and the cost of transporting someone using an electric bike is pretty low. But then the time and effort spent by this person to actually come and pick me up and drop me is quite a bit. I don't know if they get paid enough for that, right? Like one of the times when I was coming, one person said, they were talking. I don't know how the conversation started, but after they dropped me, they said, "This is my, this is not my job. As in, like, this is not my full-time job." And they said they actually go to the college, so they study in a university, and they said they have to take care of a lot of puppies, dogs that they have, and hence they're riding motorcycles to earn some extra money, right? So I'm like, wow, this person is actually trying to do some more, right, in his life. He has a lot of puppies that he takes care of. I think he mentioned, I think he plans to breed more puppies and give them off, or I don't know, sell them off. I don't know what's the idea, but basically he was talking about like I was asking, is it your own and whatnot. He said yes or something, and I think he said he breeds them and all that. So he has a lot of pets. So to feed them, he basically rides motorcycles, right? Everyone has some need, and they're trying to make ends meet, and they're trying to live through life. And these people, I think, earn very less, right? And then there are many more people who earn like very less, according to me. Though I don't know the exact amount they earn. This is just my assumption that they earn very less, and I believe that is true, most probably true. For example, people who clean up the roads, right? The roads, pavements, and all that, right? Like they don't even really have to clean it. Like for example, no one is actually monitoring, I think, or so I think, right? So they don't even have to do whatever people call their job, or I think they consider their job to be their duty, right? Duty to the world and duty in their life, to actually just ensure that their work is done properly. They actually respect their work, I think, a lot, and they respect what they do basically than the work, right? Like it's not like this is my work, so I respect it. No, it's more like the specifics of the work. I think they respect the fact that they are able to clean up the world because they do it very well, right? They do it really pretty well, perfectly, and but I doubt they get paid enough for doing their job really well, and with such devotion, right? um, I think it's just a sad thing when I see people who are actually devoted to their work, and they don't get paid enough. I sometimes just want to just go and pay them up, but there's only so much I can give. And then I'm like, but how does this work in the world level, right? For one person I can give, say for 1,000 people I can give, for 1 lakh people, for 10 lakhs people, say even for 10 lakhs people or even 50 lakhs people I can give some money, some very little money, right? Above that, how much? Like 1 crore people, like I don't think that's possible for me to just uh, sustainably live and also pay these people extra tips, money, and all that. I don't know how it's going to scale up to the world level, but yeah, I mean, there are a lot of hardworking people who put in a lot of physical labor and they don't get enough money. I remember seeing one of these videos long ago about meritocracy, basically, about how people who have more merit get paid more, earn more, and get more opportunities. It talks about how there are older generation people, or there are some sets of people who don't have the privilege to get merits, like to go and study in a school and then a college, a university, and get some merits, get some certificates, get some degree, education, and then apply for a job and go for a white collar job. So, for example, I think in the US, to some extent, I think it's not meritocracy, because, like, I've heard that maids over there, like, basically they call them as help. So if you want help, if you want to get a maid, then it actually costs a lot, is what I've heard, to cook, to clean up, whatever. Right? But in India, well, it's not the case, right? So, I mean, like, these people get paid very less actually. Only when there is a lot of demand, they know that, okay, I can actually ask for more and I can demand more, and then they get paid more. That's all, right? This video about meritocracy, they spoke about how people should just get paid more and not just based on merit. I don't remember the whole details now. I probably have to look at the video again. I saw that video. I watched it like years ago, very, very long ago. I think too many years ago, at least 2-3 years ago, probably, right? Or maybe even 5 years now. So yeah, I mean, a lot of hardworking people in the world, a lot of physical labor, manual labor, and they don't get paid enough, right? And I think transportation is also moving towards a direction where transportation or even cleaning, according to me, has to be done by robots. And even transportation, people shouldn't just be driving cars and buses and motorcycles. For example, my founder Ola, he's dreaming of a world where pods are driving, like single person or two people, self-driving pods where they don't have to drive, right? So usually when you go on a motorcycle, one person is a driver and the other person is a rider. When you rent the service, one person is a driver, right? So they are driving the vehicle, the other person is renting the vehicle. So two people. But let's say you get rid of the driver and make it self-driving. Now you can transport two people on it. Like, you can get the rent from two people, right? Instead of getting the rent from one person. So it's just optimization. Um, or you can actually make it self-driving and just drive one person. And the same is true for cars and all that, right? You can drive one more person, and and you also don't have to rely on a driver to be present, and you don't have to rely on a human, which is a hard thing in a business. Like, you have to be able to trust someone, right? That comes with a lot of effort, to be able to trust someone. And then at a large scale, it's hard to trust many people, right? Like, you can't put in a lot of effort to understand can you trust someone or not. You just put in some effort, some process, some rules and laws and legal stuff, and then that's all, some terms and conditions, and then you do some background checks, and then you just trust someone, right? So then, when you don't want to just do all that and make it easier for yourself, then you just depend on robots. You create robots and then you can easily scale them. You don't have to fear attrition, you don't have to fear people leaving you, or retaliating at you, and doing strikes at you, protests at you for whatever rules you have and whatnot. Instead, you would just be like, okay, let me just get a bot, and basically a self-driving car, a self-cleaning bot, and whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, these hardworking people, they don't get paid enough now, and slowly, and they don't get really any skills out of this, right? For example, there are people who actually man stores, uh, which they don't own. If they own, yeah, that's a great thing, they get all the profit from the store, and they're manning a store that they own. That is one thing, right? But then a lot of times the person who owns the store is not always manning the store. Instead, is the person who is actually being at the store and looking after the store and taking care of the store, is not owning the store. Probably the owner is also present, not always, maybe, or probably always, but is not doing all the work. But instead, the person who is actually taking care of the store is doing all the work, and they work at the store. And I don't think they get a lot of skills. People ask them something, and they get them that thing, and that's all. And like, I don't think they get a lot of experience and skills out of such jobs, right? I think such jobs where they can't skill up and there is no path, career path, and all that. For example, you're driving people, what do you get? Like skills, driving skills, yes. When you man a store, some socializing skills, probably, some skills about products, probably, but still, like, how much? At some point, it will saturate, I think. And after that, if they are not able to level up themselves on their own, then it's just a sad thing that there is no defined career path, and there is no incentive for the job, the boss, to actually uh, provide the employee with a career path, because they want the employee to just keep working at the same job for the same amount of money, with the same skill set, or even with better is like better always. They want more skills, but and better skill set, but same amount of money or even less, right? So that's what modern day bosses usually want, unless they are actually very kind and very empathetic. They are like, okay, let's pay them more, because the world is changing, there is inflation and whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, a lot of hardworking people in the world, a lot of physical labor, manual labor, where people don't get enough skills, they are not able to upgrade, they don't get opportunities on the job to upgrade themselves and upgrade their skills, apply to better job positions within the same industry and job, same organization or whatever, right? Government or not government, say private, whatever, right? And they get paid less. Yeah, I mean, a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I know that this is just one way of saying that the world is unfair, and no one said the world is fair. I agree. I totally know that the world is unfair. I'm just saying that these are just sad problems. One of the parts of the world is unfair. One of the faces or facets of the world is unfair. I think world is unfair has many facets, basically many faces, and many sides to it, basically. And this is just one small side to it. So yeah, that's all I had for this video, talking about physical labor, manual labor, hardworking people. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.